And welcome, FSBRacing.com. Aero 88 series, our Friday night series here at FSB Racing. Glad everyone could join us tonight to watch this good race here. It's at Rockingham Speedway, The Rock. It's an affectionately known as track. They no longer race here in the current Cup. But they did in the glory days of NASCAR, and a lot of guys that are driving around this track fondly remember this track. Unfortunately, tonight I may not be joined by all of our favorite analysts. Milty, who's working hard, and he's out of town right now, earning some money there, and respect that, and he'll be trying to get back maybe to catch the bottom half of the race if he's fortunate enough. But gotta respect that, Milty, and taking care of business there. But speaking of this race, the Rockingham Speedway, North Carolina, or also known as North Carolina Motor Speedway, doing 158 laps tonight here as happy hour is concluding. Looking at the qualifying times here, we see the 5 of Sean Johnson sitting on pole tonight. 6 of Mark DeCenza, outside pole. Ken Shea, no surprise there, another fast time. 3rd, Robert Balcom 4th, Ken Ron 5th. Rounding out the top 10, Joe Cutt, Rick Johnson, Derby Don. And a welcome back to Bill Yarbrough, who qualified 9th. Welcome back, Bill. Good to see you again. And rounding out the top 10, the 51 of Dave Jandry. Matt Watkins did not qualify, 21st place. And we'll see how this race goes. Let's go full screen here. And then we see the 5 car Sean Johnson, our pole sitter. There's the 91 of Ken Shea. 6 car Mark DeCenza on the outside pole. There's Robert Balcom, 4th. And there's the 303 of Ken Ron and the 88 of Joe Cutter.
Start your engines!
52 of Rick Johnson, PPG Industries, and there's our favorite paint job always, Monte Carlo of the Crazy Canuck, Derby Don. Lowenbrow card of Dave Jandry, and there's the 54. Unfortunately, I don't have Bill's paint as he just came back recently. I'll work on getting that from him, but he's in the Pennzoil colors. The 54 car, Bill Yarbrough. Here's the 16 at Dan Francisconi, Sconi.com. Check it out. 129 of Jeffrey Stone. And there's the 44 of Mark Favorite, who I need to get paint from as well. 83 Steve Webb. 99 of Pops Margison, and we're getting ready to go racing here, folks, as they take the green flag. And we see trouble immediately with Pops Margison getting into the wall, and looked like some hard contact there in the back. Yeah, the caution is out, so let's take a look at that. Wow, that's immediate problems right off the start of this race. And there we see Pops taking the green flag. He's up high. The 44 and the 23 just got into the back of Pops. and went for a big ride to the inside, and then hard contact with the 72 of Mike Pruitt. Oh man, that could end his night. As you see smoke pouring from the 72 car. Really bad break there for many guys who got caught up in that, and especially the 72 car. It looks to be done, or at least and the 23 as well took heavy contact there. And that's too bad. And yeah, then we can watch it again real quick here as we're under caution. And this is the replay of what caused the caution. And there you see the carnage in front. And unfortunately for Mike Pruitt, there just must have not seen Pop stopped or thought he was going to slide down. And hard contact right with the front end, and that always is a motor damaging type of hit. We'll go back live here, and we see Mike in the pits. That did affect quite a few cars as we scroll through the field here. There we see some cars coming in. The 80 of Ed Finley in. The 9 of Ken Hansen in. There's the 23 who was involved in the incident. He's coming out. There we see there it's Ken and Ed getting their service. And there's the 99 of Pops Margison, who did get some contact with the outside wall, and hard side contact there by Mike Pruitt, and the car doesn't look too worse for wear here. And there's a Dean in the 060, and he I don't know if he caught any of that. He was there around it. I think he might have got woed up in time. As these guys get it all sorted back out in the back of the field there, and as the pace car crosses the line, the FSB Corvette. 5 of Sean Johnson is obviously no one went in except the guys in the back there, so Sean continues to lead now from the pole as the 6 car right behind him, and he'll be leading them down. He's followed by the 91 of Ken Shea and the 18 of Robert Bokum in 4th. So immediate problems right off the bat here with, just guys got to have a little patience here and let these tires work in. It's probably a tick loose as they're on cold tires and brand new tires on top of that, sticker tires and cold. And you just got to take it easy here at the Rock. It's an odd-shaped oval. Back straight's traditional. The front straight has like a little kink right at the start-finish line, almost as if there's 2 straightaways, like the turn 4 to right to the start-finish line, and then from the start-finish line down to turn 1 is almost like a separate straightaway with just a little kink in between. And we'll give you a look at that as the night progresses. And there we see the 18 of Robert Bokum working 4th place. Ken Ron right behind him. And right behind him is the 52 of Rick Johnson and the 54 of Bill Yarbrough. And there's a little battle right behind him with the 88 of Joe Cutt and the 49 of Derby Don. And they seem to have sorted that out with Joe Cutt taking the position. 51 of Dave Jandry trying to be part of that 2-car tango there. And there's 125 of Jeffrey Stone, one of the newcomers here at FSB. He's followed by the 16 of Dan Francisconi. Den's all about wanting to be there at the end. He takes it easy. You hardly ever see him or talk to him. And then when there's 20 to go, you look up at maybe a restart, and there he is in 10th or 9th or something like that, ready to grab a good finishing spot. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you can get caught up in someone else's mess, though, unfortunately. As we saw, with a couple cars having contacts, a couple other guys who had nothing to do with it were the losers there, and sometimes that's frustrating. But there we see as we work our way through the field, the 83 is Steve Weber. He's followed by the 53 of T.G. Reese, fresh off that win. Looking to use some strategy here, maybe do a long green run here and save some tires and fuel, and have a good full fuel run here, and maybe you can make up some positions on some guys that burned their tires up. This is a fairly abrasive track, so if you go out a little too hard too soon, you maybe find yourself working your way backwards instead of forwards. So there will be some comers and goers, as they say. Here we see the 191 of Mike Sanders and 151 of Guy Petra. Matt Watkins, way in the back there, just taking it real easy here in the Pac-Man car. There's Pops, who had that earlier bump there and behind, and just trying to shake the car out here. I don't know if he has any engine damage, but the 80 there of Ed Finley taps the wall here at the Rock. And the Rock will bite back here if you do that too often. And there's the 9 of Ken Hansen in the Coors ride. And there's another newcomer. I'll get you his name in a second. But he's in the 07 car. He was here a while back, and now he's back again. A lot of guys do that here, including myself. I was gone for several years, had other things going on, and just unfortunately one of them couldn't be sim racing, so I left, and now I'm back, and some of the guys are still here. It's great to see, and a lot of guys remember him, and that's what FSB is all about. And that's the 7 of Ken Sotska, the 07. There we see the 23 of Jim Scharf, who was involved in that incident. And as we go back to the lead, it's the 6 of Mark DeSenza now in the lead, with the 5 of Sean Johnson second. Ken Shea and Robert Bokum continue to hold the 3rd and 4th spots. Yeah, it's a little over a mile oval. The Rock used to have some great races here. Regular NASCAR stop, and then unfortunately I think it was probably a money deal. They pulled the sponsorship or the races from the Rock, and kind of was thought to be lost, but they've recently tried to resurrect it. A couple Truck Series races have been at the Rock now, and I don't know, maybe there's hope. There we see the 72 of Mike Pruitt getting lapped. Unfortunately for Mike, the hard contact, and there he's keeping it up against the wall just to stay out of everyone's way. Good sportsmanship there by Mike Pruitt, who's probably not feeling really bad, knowing that how his car came to be damaged. It's always a tough way to go so early in the race. But the 6 of Mark DeSenza continues to lead. 5 of Sean Johnson now under some fire from the 91 of Ken Shea. And in that Pro Cup race that we just televised a couple of nights back, we remarked on the patience of Ken Shea, who we comes to be known as a guy who likes to lead and likes to go to the front and not hold your station type of guy, and he showed wonderful restraint and patience in the Pro Cup race, and he was rewarded with a pretty decent finish. And here we see him here in 3rd. That's basically where he's been since the start of the race, and looks like he's trying to repeat that success. And again, he wants to be there at the end when it matters, and that's when he's real good. And speaking of real good is the 18 of Robert Bokum, who's right behind him. And again, Robert's another fuel and tires guy, and this is a fuel and tires track if we get a green flag run, which it kind of has a complexion of right here. Oh, and oh man, the 6 of Mark DeSenza spun from the lead, bringing out a caution. And the 72 of Mike Pruitt sliding out, trying to avoid him. And oh my, woo! No one else makes any contact with him, but man, what a bad break for Mark, as he will not lose a lap here, as the pace car picks up the field right there in front of Sean Johnson. Wow, what a bad break there for Mark DeSenza. I saw the '07 there looked like he was giving ground, and I don't know if Mark maybe turned it in a little steeper than he would normally like to because of passing another car and lost it, or something else. We'll take a look at it once we see these pit stops here, which are always exciting. There's the 5 of Sean Johnson leading them down, the 91 of Ken Shea, the 18 of Robert Bokum. All had excellent qualifying, so all will be pitting up in front, which is kind of like turns, as you can see, as they turn almost into turn 1 here. And they make the turn all the way down. Sean Johnson, the pole sitter, gets into his pit nicely. Right side tires going on. I think this will be a 4th tire stop here. Let's see if anyone elects to take 2. We'll know very shortly here if anyone passes up Sean Johnson. But there we see Robert Bokum with a better stop than Ken Shea. And it's a drag race off pit road between Ken Shea and Robert Bokum for the 2nd position. I think Robert might have got him. Spectacular stop for the 18 team. Well, while they sort that out, let's take a look at what happened to Mark DeSenza. Just and there we see he's already well clear of the 7, and just, oh my, and that was hard rear end contact as well with the '07. He looked to be well clear of the '07, and just kind of got the back end out around from him and out into the outside wall, but he also collected the '07 as he slid up to the outside wall and took some heavy rear con. As you can see, the back end really pushed in there for Mark DeSenza. So let's go back live here and take a look at the car now. And you can see the crew appears to have done some nice work on it. The back end does not look as caved in as it did right after the incident. So maybe Mark can salvage something here and work his way back. Plenty of laps. As we look in the scoring here, we see only 24 of 158 complete, but so plenty of time, as the 91 of Ken Shea is showing a blown engine. And that's just a terrible break for Ken Shea, who had a very fast car tonight, and we're just remarking how he's been showing this patience, just working his way steadily and slowly up to the front. And unfortunately, a mechanical failure, which is again part of this game. These things happen. No explanation of why. I'm sure you didn't do anything wrong. I don't think you can do anything wrong. You can blow gears if you downshift improperly or blow an engine. So it's possible that maybe he downshifted into a gear. I doubt it, though. As the pace car clears, there we see Sean Johnson going to lead him down. But a real bad break for Ken Shea. He's out of the race. Sean and Robert Bokum now 1-2. As they get their green flag start there. The 303 Ken Ron now moving up to 3rd, taking advantage of Ken Shea's engine. And there's the 54 of Bill Yarbrough, as Sean leads him down the back stretch here, or down the front stretch, excuse me, and into turn 1. There we see the Derby Don, Dave Jandry, Bill Yarbrough. Derby Don a little jiggly there as he's connected from the Great White North up in Canada. Usually works itself out. He doesn't usually have major issues. He'll get a little blip here and there. But 49 to Derby Don in the mix with the top lead cars, as is now the 83 is Steve Weber, making a nice move up the order. As we see a move by the 54 there, Bill Yarbrough on the 303 of Ken Ron. Not successful right there, as Ken held him off. Not the easiest thing in the world to do to pass here at the Rock. Definitely have to pass to the inside. The problem is you get kind of pinched down, and you can't get that run off the corner. But when you do, and you're the faster car, you can pull down side by side down one of the straightaways. And there we see the 72 of Mike Pruitt down on the apron, blow it up, and that's probably an end of Mike Pruitt's night, unfortunately, who was involved in that first incident there with the 99 of Pops, 23 of Jim Sharp. And that may have brought out the yellow as well. Here we see some cars taking a ride into the pits. The 88 of Joe Cutt. 191 of Mike Sanders. Looks like the 15 there of Matt Watkins also coming down pit lane. Uh, 191 must be going a little slow there, as Matt Watkins taking advantage of it and kind of doing the old pass on pit lane, which you can do if a guy's going slower than the posted limit. Oh, and there's unfortunately some contact there by the 07. The 07 and the 99 look to have caught. The 07 is in the wrong pit stall. So. And I don't quite know what happened there. Let's take a look back and see something happened there. There we see the 07 pitted in the proper stall. There you see the sign card. And then as Pops came in, the 07 kind of made a newcomer mistake there, as he drove through the pit stalls instead of getting out on the pit lane, and kind of got hemmed in, and for some reason elected to stay there and not reverse out away from it. But Pops there got a little bump, but he was able to complete his pit stop. And yeah, that's an unfortunate mistake there. Of course, when you're new, even if you've been here before, sometimes you know, some of those things are still fresh in your mind, and you can't remember everything. So those things happen in sim racing. Doesn't look like any harm or came of it, so we'll move on. And moving back up to the leaders here, there we see the 5 of Sean Johnson. The lights out on the pace car, so we'll be back to green flag racing shortly. Sean's had a pretty decent car tonight. He's been right up at the front, shared the lead early on in this race with the 6 of Mark DeSenza, who unfortunately looped the car there and got some damage, and he's in the back now. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Mark and see if he can progress and get back up to the front, or if his car is unfortunately too damaged to do something like that. But if it's not, I would expect Mark to be moving up very shortly, and we'll keep an eye on that as we get ready for the green flag here. And Sean Johnson leading them down, 18 to Robert Bokum in second place, teammates, followed by the 303 Ken Ron just quietly just being there. So far, he was in top 5. Now he's in top 3. Sure, when he's fast, he likes to get out there. If he's content to drive behind teammate Robert Bokum, I would think so. And I think this is a 3-team train here that I think Robert Bokum will be the conductor of, and try to lead these guys around till a green flag stop, if that's what it comes to. And Sean continues to lead here with the 18 and 303. There we see our first interloper to the Balcom Motorsports triumvirate at the front, 54 Bill Yarbrough, who I'm sure would love to break up that threesome there. But Dave Jandry and Derby Don have continued to maintain their positions as well. And again, as I said, that part of that lead pack, and we can see behind Derby Don, there's a bit of a gap forming. And there we see the 6 of Mark DeSenza. And we can see the banking too of the rock there. That's a good view of some of the banking here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway, Rockingham. And well, the 6 car looks pretty good there as he runs with Joe Cutt there in front. 15 of Matt Watkins. 16 Den Francisconi, and there's the lead pack. And there's 49 of Derby Don, 51 of Dave Jandry, and so there's the Derby Don represents the end of this lead pack, and there's the 52 of Rick Johnson, who's in the no man's land between packs, and he is slowly, looks like, reeling in this top pack. Tick of a draft here at Rockingham. You obviously do like to play follow the leader here. And it looks like Rick Johnson is going to have something to say for that lead pack in a couple more laps. Make it a couple more turns. And there we see right behind him, now in the new no man's land, is the 83 of Steve Weber, who's now desperately trying to latch on to Rick Johnson and try to tow here the rest of these guys, who have some fast guys here. T.G. Reese, who's still feeling the glow of that win, I'm sure, as he should. 16 of Dan Francisconi, 15 of Matt Watkins. These guys are fast and experienced drivers. They're going to know what they need to do to get to the front. There we see the 6 of Mark DeSenza getting around the 15 of Matt Watkins. So any miss of his car not working right is greatly exaggerated, as now he goes around the 16 of Dan Francisconi and towing along Matt Watkins there, as Matt also gets around Den. As now Mark works on the 53 of T.G. Reese. And there we see Steve trying desperately to catch this lead pack, who now has a new member. 52 of Rick Johnson has officially joined the pack here. I'll make that call. And it looks like the 83 of Steve Weber is actually going to join those guys sooner rather than later. Now as the guys behind him kind of fragment, with the 53 and the 6 now pulling away from the 15. I think Matt Watkins here not fighting any of these guys and not really pushing any envelopes yet at all. And the 6 does complete a pass there of TG. So Mark continuing to gobble up positions here as he works his way back to the promised land of the front of the pack. And he's doing a great job as TG and Matt try to catch back up to him, and as the 83 tries to catch up to the 52. And he's slowly getting there. Slowly getting there. And Derby takes a little glimpse inside of the 51 Dave Jandry. Nothing serious. Derby Don, not the kind of guy to slap a nose under you just for the sake of doing it. If you get high though on him, he will take the position from you. And that's really the way the pass here at the Rock. You know, a guy gets a little out of shape, tires go away a little, you get a little high in the middle of the turn. If your car's better, your tires are better, you should be able to drive right underneath him and accelerate out of the turn and get by him and complete the pass. And if you can't do that, you really shouldn't, and you should just stay in line and try the next time. And that's what these guys at the front are doing. They're content to stay in line. If there's a mistake made by any of the top pack, by all means, they'll take advantage of it. But as you can see, the 5 is Sean Johnson comfortably in the lead. 18 Robert Bokum and 303 Ken Ron content on second and third, as is the 54 Bill Yarbrough, who's been sitting in fourth. Sound like a broken record here with the top 4, top 5 is there's Bill and 51 to Dave Jandry. And there we have the 49, the 52, the newest comer to the pack. And then there we see that Steve Weber now has help with the 6 of Mark DeSenza, but Mark DeSenza is just on a mission here to get back to the front at any cost, and he just blows by the 83 car. Mark DeSenza's on a rail right now, and he's on a mission to get back to the front and take back what was his, which was the lead. Really impressive driving here by Mark, as he just basically drove through the whole field. And he's closing on Derby Don, who has let the 52 of Rick Johnson get by him. So now Derby Don is in danger of falling under the wrath of the 6 car. And there the 83 Steve Webb, who desperately trying to catch these guys. He's just so tantalizingly close, but yet so far away. As the 6 really working over the back of Derby Don now. I'm sure Derby recognizes that and gives them plenty of room here, as we see the 6 car getting underneath the 49 to start the pass. And as we get into the turn, expect him to complete that pass. And he does, and now the 52 of Rick Johnson has also completed a pass on the 51 of Dave Jandry. So a little moving and shaking going on amongst the top guys, and as a result of the passing, though, it has kind of split up this top pack from a pretty tight moving group to kind of 1s and 2s, as the 1s is number 1 Sean Johnson in the 5 car, and the 18 Robert Bokum continues to follow at a comfortable distance. And same for the 303 of Ken Ron, the 54 of Bill Yarbrough, who have managed to have a little space here now to the 52 of Rick Johnson, who continues to move his way up to the front. Great drive so far by Rick. And there's the 51, and there's closely followed by the 6. And now it looks like Derby Don has dropped off the pace a tick here, as now the 83 of Steve Weber has joined them. And maybe the 2 together, if they can stay in line, can maybe get back to the front there. But the tires are going away now from these guys as we complete lap 56 of 158. So almost 100 laps remaining now. And guys are on different strategies, as we saw some of the guys in the back of the pack pitted. Some of the guys at the front did not, including Derby Don. So we'll see now, as pit stops might be the order of the day, as now we get into some lap traffic And this can always be interesting as the 44 Mark Fravor goes a laps down, as the 52 and the 6 and the 51 now as Mark DeSenza has gotten around Dave Jandry. And the 52 and the 6 continue on to the front. Next victim, Bill Yarborough. They got around some lap traffic there, and the 18, the 5, 303 continue to be the Bochum 1-2-3 punch at the top. And Bill is continuing on in fourth, falling a little off the bumper now of Ken Ron in third. But that 6 car is a-coming. And how about, really after that incident, he was in basically the last car in the lead lap. Sure, some other guys pitted that maybe pitted later that he stayed out and took some, but still, this is a back to the front move that you don't really see very often here at FSB. Very impressive. And so if you are watching there on Twitch, what you can do is go to the FSB live page, which is on the main FSB page, not the forum, the main page, home page, and click on that FSB live button that you see in the top left corner. Then you'll not only will you see the broadcast going on there, but you'll also be able to scroll down and see a lot of info from a race cast. That's pretty neat. That really will enhance your experience there. As you can see where any of your favorite drivers are running, lap times, laps led, how many times they've pitted, bunch of stuff there. A lot of information that really can enhance the experience here of the race. As we see that 6 car just chewing up the cars and spitting them out as he goes around Bill Yarborough, and now he just goes around Ken Ron like he was not even there. And just a really impressive drive here by Mark DeSenza, as now the 5 and the 18, as you saw there, were able to separate away now with all the passing going on. It does slow down the cars no matter what. Even the faster car has to go just a little slower as the pass gets completed. But there we see the 5 and the 18 teaming up here and really pushing the envelope now, and really opened up a nice lead, which for green flag stops really comes in handy here at the Rock, where you don't need to pit necessarily with a friend here, but it's nice to be on similar strategies so you can work together and plan out the rest of the race. As we have got inside 100 laps here, as we complete lap 65, we should maybe start thinking of seeing some guys here on the lead, maybe thinking of pitting. They can do about 48 laps. I think it's been maybe 30, 35 since some of these guys have been in, so maybe 10 laps away or so from maybe seeing some green flag stops here at the Rock. And there we see the battle there between the 303 and the 52 as we bring up our running order there. That's a battle there for 4th place, as Mark DeSenza has just climbed from last to now a solid 3rd place, and trying to run down those top 2. And there we see the 52 of Rick Johnson getting a look in the inside. The 303 of Ken Ron. Ken giving him the room that he needs to complete the pass. So Ken doing the right thing, doing the sportsmanship thing. If he says, if Rick Johnson's faster than me, let him take the inside line and take the position. And as of right now, Ken's running faster than Rick, and Rick's ducking in behind him now to get maybe another little run off of him. And that's brought the 54 also of Bill Yarborough back in the picture here. And will he follow Rick here as he gets side by side here with Ken? Great battle here for fourth, as now the 52 has gotten by the 303. Oh, and there's a spin there as Bill Yarbrough has spun. Caution is out. Caution is out. As Bill Yarbrough has spun. And there's Matt Watkins all of a sudden joining this gang. As the 5 has caught the pace car. We're going to stay with the pits, then we're going to go back and see what happened to Bill there, if there was contact or if he just lost it. Like I said, these guys were getting close to pit stops. The tires were probably getting a little old there, and if you drive it in a little hard, those older tires won't hold and you'll get a little slippage. And maybe that's what happened there to Bill, or maybe he got a little help. We'll find out in a second. As the 5 leads the familiar sight, the 5 leading the 18 down pit lane, as they did last time. Here's a little different view from the inside of pit lane, as you see the crews readying to go. And there we see the 5 and the 6 pitting there, and the 6 car just has made a wonderful run. Now he's pitting with the leaders. He's basically has lost only one position through this whole thing. And there we see the 5 of Sean Johnson, the 18 of Robert Bokum, the 6 of Mark DeSenza, who are 1, 2, 3, and now a new and familiar 4th place runner in Matt Watkins. So again, Matt started out back there, took his time, stayed out of trouble. And now here he is at 4th place, Matt Watkins. He's gobbling them up just like his buddy there on the hood. And there's 52 of Rick Johnson, 51 of Dave Jandry, and now the 303 Ken Run. Kind of the loser there out of that whole lead pack. Ken was running 3rd for that, a good portion of that, and now we see him down in 8th. So Ken needs to get those fresh tires, and I think he'll be fine. And there's the 88 of Joe Cutt right behind him in 9th, and the 9 car of Ken Hansen in 10th. So Ken, so far so good. Let's take a look at what happened to Bill Yarbrough. There we see Bill in the pack with the 52, the 303, and the 15, and I'll take a second look at that. Hard to tell from that camera angle. Let's try a different one here as the 54 car gets into the... And yeah, he just got a little loose there. Matt Watkins maybe took a little air off the back spoiler there, and he spun it into the inside wall. Not too heavy of damage. He got going right away. Stays on the lead lap, and he's back in the pack now, but he still has laps to make up here, as we are on 73 of 158. He's not even halfway yet, so he keeps. I'm sure he'll keep that in perspective. He knows that it's not the end of the world. The car doesn't look worse for wear, really, to tell you the truth. And we'll hope that Bill Yarbrough will do Mark DeSenza here and go from the back to the front. As green flag is back out. And look, 191 out in front. Let me check here. Looks like the 191 was the first car lap down, so he started on the inside leader and got the jump there on Sean Johnson, who just no need to fight that at all. If you're Sean Johnson, you want to focus on your race, and if he's faster, let him go. If you're faster when you catch him, then so be it. You'll get by him. That's smart racing by Sean Johnson, who needs to focus on what's more important, and that's leading this race. And we see a battle behind him as Derby Don, who is also, I believe, a lap down. Actually, Derby Don 2 laps down in 17th place. Trying desperately to get a lap back here as he got around Robert Bokum, and now he's on a mission to get by Sean Johnson, who, maybe thinking here about another long green flag run, as we have seen some here, as we just were about probably to get into a window of green flag stops as we got that caution, as we complete 77 of 158. Few laps away from halfway here. And so Derby Don does get around Sean Johnson, and so now he's officially 1 lap down, as is the 191. So we'll see if they can stay out front and maybe catch a caution and gain that ground back. This is old school NASCAR, folks. You do not get a lucky dog. You do not get a wave around here. You got to pass the leader, and that ain't easy in FSB, and it ain't easy in this Aero series, who really brings out the cream of the crop here in FSB. But Sean continues to lead, and the 18 Robert Bokum continues to be holding station in second. But a new third place person, Matt Watkins, gobbling up another position. Pac-Man is now in third. And we'll see how he deals with Robert Bokum here. Matt's car looks to be very good now, coming into its own. He got around the guy who was absolutely the fastest part of the field, and as I say that, Mark hits the afterburners and takes a look on the inside of the 15 car, but to no avail, as Matt continues to keep that position and continue to be right on the back bumper of Robert Bokum as well. There we see the 52 of Rick Johnson, watching Mark and Matt go at it there. And there's a 51 of Dave Jandry and the 303 of Ken Ron. The lead pack is still the lead pack, plus Matt Watkins. It's also jumbled up in the standings with as I said, Ken Ron in 8th now, was 3rd. And 88 of Joe Cutt here, trying to cling on now to the lead group here. And he's in a battle of his own there with the 9 of Ken Hansen and the 151 of Guy Petra. Back to the front here, the 15 and the 6 continue to hold their station, as does the 18 of Robert Bokum, who I'm sure is aware of who's in his mirror now. It's not a friendly anymore. Former teammates, former Monsoon Motorsports Dynasty teammates, Matt Watkins, Robert Bokum. Robert struck out on his own to begin this season, formed Bokum Motorsports, and they've been the class of FSB racing this season and virtually across the board. Really impressive job that Robert did putting together this team on one season, and then really proving it on the track with almost all of his guys winning races somewhere, and obviously including himself, racking up wins left and right, and earning himself the points leader here by a healthy margin of I believe it's 50 points over Derby Don. And as we say, Derby Don, we see that the 5 of Sean Johnson has caught the 2 intruders who dare to pass the leader and get their laps back. Derby Don has now gotten around the 191 of Mike Sanders, so he does have a little buffer there in front of Sean. So, and this is a tough spot. You want to stay, you want to keep the lap that you've earned, and at the same time, you know that it is the leader, and you don't want to, obviously have any type of incident with the leader as a lap car. So it's a fine line between racing hard and respecting the leader. And Derby Don seems to be running a good, strong line there as they hammer down there, crossing the start-finish line, getting into one there on that little kink. And he'll do whatever it takes here to stay out in front of Sean. And Sean takes a little look there to the inside of the 191 car. Now takes a second look. Mike Sanders does give him the room there that the leader needs to get by, and the pass is complete. And now Sean's going to work on Derby Don and see what happens here if Derby Don can fight the good fight. Oh, and there's some heavy contact between the 6 and the 52 car. Wow. Caution is out. Wow, that was a heavy contact between the 6 and the 52 car. Let's take a look at what happened there. And there we see the 6 just 6 and 52 running nose to tail. And unfortunately, what it looks like to me is the 6 lost the back end of the car. And there you see Mark sends it was on got onto the brakes to correct that back end coming around, and unfortunately in doing so Rick Johnson got into the back of him there, and really nowhere for Rick Johnson to go, unfortunately. And yeah, I think that may have ended Mark's night, unfortunately. Or it's possible that maybe he called for a tow. Let me check here on the... I do not see him... do not see him on the track presently. However, I do not see the 6 car is showing as retired as well. It's showing him just one lap down now. So Derby Don was able to get that lap back too. So that's a big help for Derby Don. He's just one lap down, and he'll be able to fight the good fight one more time here. As we see Sean Johnson continuing to lead. So an unfortunate incident there. Again, Mark just got in there a little too deep, and this is the turns here are a little steep, not terribly so, but if you come in a little flat onto these turns and give the wheel any kind of yank, you can bring the back end around, and of course on older tires too, it's harder to catch that slip and save it. And you see he jabbed the brakes to kind of correct that loose condition, but unfortunately in doing so he slowed the car down so much that Rick had absolutely nowhere to go. And we see the lights on the pace car are out. The 5 of Sean Johnson is going to lead this field down yet again. Sean's been out front good portion of this race so far. He's looking good, smooth. There we see the 49 of Derby Don joining the fray, looking to get back on the lead lap here. I'm sure he got 4 tires and fuel. If you're a lap down, you got a free pass there basically for pit stop. So he's on fresher tires than Sean Johnson. So we'll see if he can use that to his advantage here, get on the lead lap, and be another back to front guy. Pace car is off. Sean leading them down. Derby Don right with him. Obviously, if you're Derby, you cannot pass the leader until you cross the start-finish line. Now it's every guy holding their line. Derby Don allowed to run his inside line. Sean Johnson has to run the outside line until we exit turn 2. Now the race is on. And Derby Don was able to take advantage of that, get around Sean Johnson with the preferred inside line. And he was able to tow Mike Sanders again with him, so both guys get back on the lead lap for the time being. Now Matt Watkins very racy, as take a little copter view there. And Matt Watkins able to pass Robert Bokum early on here, and now he sets sights on Sean Johnson. And Matt Watkins is serious now. He's looking to go to the front. And he is able to complete the pass on Sean. And Matt Watkins just roars from third to first. Just a fine job of driving by Matt Watkins. I mean, he was in the back there, looking just like he was, minding his own business, and now all of a sudden he just zooms by clearly the guy who's been fastest all night, but now he must be the second fastest tonight, as we see some smoke up ahead. Saw some smoke up ahead, which will mean Derby Don and Mike Sanders have regained a lap. Oh, and there we see Ed going for a spin cycle. As we can just see here, as I paused it without even thinking about it, we see the 53 car TG Reese getting real loose there. And he corrected, and unfortunately corrected right in front of Ed, who had to get on the brakes, and unfortunately for Pops, he could not get on the binders in time, and punted it down into the infield. And Ed took a little spin cycle there, glancing off the wall. Pops spinning around on the track. Derby Don, Mike Sanders taking advantage of the situation. And there we see live back, we see Derby Don going into the pit stalls, taking his hard-fought tires and fuel. And Derby Don McCorson, is going to be officially on the lead lap, the 16th car on the lead lap. Excellent job by Derby Don, and a wonderful job by the 191 of Mike Sanders. It is not easy to do what they just did in those, coming from 2 laps down now back to the lead lap. That's good old-fashioned NASCAR right there at its best. Some of these yahoos that run today could take a look at. Great job, Derby Don. Go back to the front there. We see the lights are still on the pace car. 15 of Matt Watkins is the new leader. 5 of Sean Johnson second. 18 of Robert Bokum third. Looks like the 151. Or excuse me, the 51 of Dave Jandry. Right behind Robert there. And the 303 Ken Ron. 83 Steve Weber. 88 of Joe Cutt. 151 Guy Petra. Rounding out the top 10 there. Guy with creeping into the top 10. Joe Cutt into the top 10. Nice job, guys. And speaking of nice job, there's the 54, Bill Yarbrough, showing now in ninth as guys continue to make some pit stops. So Bill Yarbrough, who had that incident there, not too much damage, though, as you can see. He's able to drive right back to the front. He's in ninth, and I would suspect he'll be in better than ninth shortly. There we see Derby Don taking his place. As we see now the lights on the pace car are off. We're on lap 101 of 158. 57 laps remaining here at the Rock in Rockingham, North Carolina. Now we see some new lappers, the 44 of Mark Favorite and 129 Jeffrey Stone, lap down cars. They're going to take their run now at their, see if they can do what Derby Don was able to do. And again, FSB rules, no racing till the backstretch. So turns 1 and 2, both lines need to hold their line through those turns, no passing. If your line moves, you can move with it. If not, you need to stay in line. And as that's been done, you can see the 15 of Matt Watkins was able to hold the 44 off momentarily, but the 44 desperately trying to get in front of Matt Watkins, and he's successful with a nice move, clipped the apron just a bit, but it was able to really turn the car in and get that run off the turn. So Mark able to get pushed past Matt to get a lap back temporarily. We see the 15 and the 18 there. Nose to tail, or excuse me, the 15 and the 5. So Sean not giving up the fight by any means, but the 15 and the 5 are also separated now from the rest of the field, as we see Robert and Dave. Oh, and there's a car hard into the inside wall, and it's Rick Johnson. And caution's out. And we'll take a look and see what happened here to Rick. Well, there was... I don't know if there was any contact there with the TG. Yeah, it looked like there was some contact there. It looked like just Rick was a little maybe off the gas there, as had to kind of whoa up a little there for the car in front of him, and TG just wasn't on the brakes as quick as Rick was. You can see as they tried to move around, kind of move to the inside there, and just a little tap and around Rick went hard into the wall. There we see the lights are still on the pace car, as we'll go back to the front of this field here. And there we see some lap down cars going into the pits. 129, 80. Ed went for that ride down onto the grass there and into the inside pit wall there, or the outside pit wall, I guess. If you're on pit lane, it's the outside wall. If you're on the track, it's the inside wall. There we see a host of our lap down cars pitting as we go to 107 of 158 here at the Rock. And there we see, unfortunately, the 52 of Rick Johnson has officially retired. He'll join Den and Mike Pruitt and Ken Shea and Jim Scharf and Dean Gautreau in the retirement category, unfortunately. And we see that there are 15 cars now on the lead lap with Rick Johnson's retirement. And the 54 car is in the lead. How about that, folks? Bill Yarbrough. Bill Yarbrough showing in the lead, lights out in front of Matt Watkins. And we're about to take this green as a couple lap down cars again try their luck with a couple spat of cautions here. Some lap down cars were able to make up their laps. And we can see that really Derby Don is taking huge advantage of this. Went from 2 laps down to now back in the top 10. Why not these guys? There we see Bill getting ready to lead them down. We finally have some new leaders here. See how quick Matt tries to make a move here. Again, no passing till the backstretch. We'll see who gets the best start here as we see the 129 trying to get to the inside. He's not going to be able to do it. So if Bill and Matt lead the way out there as the 44 car making it 3 wide. You ever see the 151? A Guy Petra on a great run here. Good job, Guy. And 5 of Sean Johnson right behind him. And as they go coming out of 3 there. Out of 4, excuse me. Or was that 2? Excuse me, 2. I only got 4 choices and I got 3 of them wrong there. Sometimes it's hard to tell on these TV shots. We see a great battle there between the 5 and the 151 as Sean Johnson wants that position back. And there's a battle for the lead as well as Matt Watkins and Bill Yarbrough go side by side. Matt Watkins getting the better of that one, and he's towing along Sean Johnson for battle for second now. As Sean Johnson now able to get around Bill Yarbrough and the 151 of Guy Petra. So Bill Yarbrough sliding up there, and top 3 take advantage of that, put him back to 4th. And there we see kind of a gap there. There's a 44 Mark Favorite who's lap down, I believe now. I think he did get one of those laps back last time. But he goes high here and lets the racing leaders go as he bounces off the wall a couple of times, trying to keep himself away from those lead lap cars. And so far so good there as the 88 of Joe Cutt go around, the 53 of T.G. Reese, 191 of Mike Sanders, and there's Ed and Pops all going by now. There we see the 303 of Ken Ron getting to the inside of the 51 of Dave Jandry. Dave able to hold Ken off there, and there's Derby Don and Robert Bokum. Derby Don, again, 2 laps down, just 15-20 laps ago, is now on the lead lap. Having to race his way back onto the lead lap there and was successful. Now he's just a little behind 18 car Robert Bokum as they try to rejoin this top 4 led by Matt Watkins, John Johnson second, Guy Petra, and there's a look like Matt got a little squirrely there, and Sean Johnson taking advantage of it, looking to take the lead, and does. And he's bringing along the 151 and the 54. And Guy Petra taking a look on the inside of Matt Watkins. Matt will continue to fight that battle there as Sean takes the lead back. Sean's looking racy, and he pulls out to a nice little lead as Matt has his hands full with 151 and the 54. And what that's also allowed, it appears, is the 18 and the 49 and the 51 even have been towed along as those guys swap positions. Those cars took advantage of that with a little faster lap times. And now you can see the 18 has joined this top four, and he's right on the closing in on the back bumper of Bill Yarbrough in fourth. Sean really has a good-looking car tonight, folks. I think he's got something for the rest of this field, as he has pulled out to a very nice lead over the 15 of Matt Watkins. And as we said, Matt still has his hands full here with the 151, the 54, and now the 18, and possibly, and there we see the 151 of Guy Petra dives inside and takes the position. Matt forced on the outside, and he's gonna have some problems here. Let's see what the 18 does. Does he let him in? Answer is no. Robert Bokum goes by the 15 to 49. And Derby Don goes by the 15. 51 to Dave Jandry looking to go by the 15. So Matt Watkins now getting freight trained on the outside as you get out on the outside line, and there's, whoa, Dave, get away from him. Dave Jandry get a little wide there in the turn, and almost a little contact there with Matt Watkins. No harm, no foul. Matt was able to keep that position, and now he's trailing Derby Don. Let's see if he can gather it back in here and get back to the front. So we have the 5 now is Sean Johnson's remaining the leader, and a nice healthy lead now he's built. He's trailed now by our new second place driver, the 151, Guy Petra. Nice run so far for Guy as we complete lap 123 of 58. So that leaves 35 laps. These guys are going to probably have to make a stop, but we'll see. If it stays green, we'll see. It'll be interesting. Maybe some guys that might want to run the gambit. I think you can run about 48 laps on fuel, so it's possible you can make it work. Your tires would be shot, you'd be running slow, but maybe that's a gamble worth taking. We'll see. But what we won't see is Sean Johnson, who's checked out on the field. A guy desperately trying to cling to a view of Sean there, and we see that the 54 now of Bill Yarbrough is separated himself from fourth place as he tries to chase down a guy. As we see the 18 and the 49 continuing to run nose to tail, and there's the 15 of Matt Watkins, who's held his position now since falling from the lead there. Behind Matt is the 51 of Dave Jandry, the 83 of Steve Webb, and 303 of Ken Ron, who's had it looks like may have lost a position there to the Webb, and there's the 88 of Joe Cutt, and he's followed by the 53 of T.G. Reese. T.G. slowly making his way to the front. Can he pull off another upset of the big boys? And there we see the 88 of Joe Cutt getting to the inside of Ken Ron, and he will complete that pass. Very nicely done by Joe Cutt as he's looking to move up. There's some comers and goers now. See Matt Watkins trying to gather it back in here and make his way back to the front. 49 at Derby Don, who's gone, like I said, from the back to the front, literally. And there's the 18 of Robert Bokum, who they have now caught the 54 of Bill Yarbrough. And we'll see if Robert Bokum looks to take that position away. Robert's run a real kind of a quiet race, I'd call it. He hasn't been flashy. He hasn't been roaring down and making swooping down moves or anything. Not that he ever does that. But he's been content to run where he's running. And there's the 151 getting a little high there in the turn. And that has allowed the 54 of Bill Yarbrough to get underneath him. And now he's got his hands full with a bunch of other guys. As the 18 of Robert Bokum looks to go around him and take the 49 and the 15 with him. So Guy got a little high in that turn there. I don't know. He chased the car up the hill there a little. Got a little loose and had to chase the car. Or just a late entry there. But he made a little bobble there. And Bill Yarbrough took full advantage of it. And took the position. And now Robert Bokum, as a result of that loss of momentum, Robert Bokum looking to the inside of Guy Petra. And Guy goes up into the next lane to give Robert the room he needs to race him cleanly. And they do race cleanly, and Robert makes the pass very nicely. And now Derby Don's looking to do the same thing as is the 15 of Matt Watkins and the 51 of Dave Jandry. So it's Guy's turn to go maybe a little back to front, or front to back, or back to front. And there we see the caution is out. Don't know if something happened there to Pops. Oh, yes, something did happen to Pops. And the 9 of Ken Hansen, unfortunately. It looked like, man, there's just been some really unfortunate incidents tonight that I'm not used, can say that I'm not really used to seeing. That's two veteran drivers there in Joe Cutt and Pops Margison. And it looked like Pops thought he was clear. When he wasn't. Let's see what happened here as we ride along with Pops. Yeah, it just looks like Pops thought he might have already cleared Joe Cutt and went to move up toward the preferred racing line, and unfortunately Joe Cutt was there, and in the spin got a love tap, if you want to call it that, from Ken Hansen. And you can see some damage there to Ken's ride as well. And yeah, that's a shame for both of them. Let's go back to the front here. And look at Sean Johnson. And we see just a little while ago while we were watching the incident, this was the pit stops here of the leaders. You see the 5 of Sean Johnson leading them down as he's done many times. You can see the next two stalls are abandoned as unfortunately those guys are out of the race. And there we see the 18 of Robert Bokum and the 54 of Bill Yarbrough and the 49 of Derby Don. And there's a 151 to 15 getting by. So a good race off pit road there. Won by the 5 of Sean Johnson, 54 Bill Yarbrough second, 18 of Robert Bokum third. See, we have 24 laps remaining, so plenty of laps here to have things change. Has a kind of a short track feel, but is by no means a short track. It's over a mile. think barely, but nonetheless, it is over a mile. And we see the lights on the pace car are still on. The 5 Sean Johnson. Let's take a look at fast laps here. Ever see fast lap of the race? The 52 of Rick Johnson, who's unfortunately out of the race. 24.666. 44 Mark Favor. 24.687. Fastest laps. Good laps, boys. And now the lights are off. We'll be back to green flag racing, which will resume at lap 137. So we have 21 laps remaining. The 20 lap shoot is like a Saturday night shootout here in the Winston Cup Series. And I know Sean desperately wants to win this race. He's really had, I mean, call it what you want, you know, wrecks, bad luck, whatever. Sean's a good guy. He's a hard driver. He's a smart driver, and he's a fast driver, and he's a winning driver. And I know he's had some bad luck lately, and I know this is something he would love to bring home. And I don't see why he won't, as he takes the green flag with Bill Yarbrough behind him. He's been fast all night. He hasn't led every single lap. He has been back a little and had to kind of drive his way back to the front a few times. But he's done it, and now he's out front again. He's fast off the restart. This is what he did before as well. And Bill and Robert Bokum here are going to be into a battle for second. But the 15 of Matt Watkins now rejuvenated after the pit stop. Let's see if he has something to say about this. One of the few guys that actually caught Sean Johnson and passed him, Matt Watkins. And there's Derby Don and Guy Petra at the back of this 5-car tandem. That does make sense. Tandem, 5 cars. 5-car group. And the 15 of Matt Watkins slips by the 18 of Robert Bokum, sets sail on the 54 of Bill Yarbrough as 49 of Derby Don looks on. Like to get up in that mix there and get around Robert Bokum. I think that you're 1-2 in points. And, of course, finishing behind the guy that you're chasing is not doing your cause any good. As we see a log jam here as the 15 gets around the 54 Bill Yarbrough. And 18 of Robert Bokum trying to join the party. As is the 49 of Derby Don, who's trying to stay glued to Robert's back bumper. Looks like Robert can make a move here. If you're Robert, you need to probably think about doing something pretty quickly. So if you have a spot to pass, you need to take advantage of it. You can see Derby Don, Ken Ron, now making a move back up to the front. Nice job by Ken, fighting back from being down 10th to 11th place there. Now he's fighting to get back on this lead pack of cars, which is basically 2nd through 10th. Matt Watkins leading this group in their efforts to chase down this man. But as you can see, he's opened up about a half of a corner lead, and that's a pretty decent lead there for Sean Johnson as these laps click off quick here at the Rock. We just completed we're completing lap 144, so that just leaves 14 laps remaining. If Matt's got anything for him, he needs to go, man, go. And there we see Matt. There we see Robert Bokum looking on the inside of Bill Yarbrough for third. There we see the gap between the 5 of Sean Johnson and the rest of the field. There you can see it nicely as the folks in the trailers look on in the motorhomes. And you can see that's a pretty decent lead that Sean Johnson has as the laps are winding down. And here comes the 18 of Robert Bokum on the inside of Matt Watkins. Matt battling back on the outside. And they continue to... Oh, and there's contact. And Matt's up into the wall. He keeps going. I know Robert's sick about that. He's probably the cleanest driver in FSB. I see that the green lights are still on, so a bad break for Matt Watkins doesn't get the benefit of the caution as he hit the wall there, but he really kept it going in the right direction, and hopefully he's able to keep the car competitive as the group in front now. As the group in front has really scrambled up because of that contact, and that's really let Sean Johnson is his race to lose now. As we see the 18 of Robert Bokum now is in third. The 49, I believe, now of Derby Don is in second. Yes, Derby Don there in second. As you see a jumble going into turn 1. And there's a huge gap that Sean has over the rest of the field. And, yeah, as we said, this is Sean's race to lose now as we're 9 laps to go. 10 laps to go here. And there we see a battle for second as Robert Bokum takes a look on the inside of Derby Don. Derby really taking advantage of the incident to take that position away. Robert may have the faster car here, but, again, not the easiest place to pass. And there we see Derby and Robert Bokum continuing the battle. Ken Ron trying to join this group. And here's where the jumble begins. The 51, the 83, the 54, the 88 of Joe Cutt. There's Matt Watkins in the back of this pack of cars. As we see Joe Cutt trying to make a look on the inside. Woo, that was tight. But Bill Yarbrough able to keep the power down on the outside and keep the position ahead of Joe Cutt. I'm sure Matt took a little damage there in the wall, so really unknown how his car is handling. But one car we know is handling perfectly. That's the 5 of Sean Johnson, who's just really drove a great race. He's been fast all night. He's led a lot of laps, probably led the most laps. And he's going to drive and take this. He's going to take this win as we get on 5 laps remaining. I don't see anyone catching him. There's Derby Don in second, but unfortunately Robert Bokum in third is his guy he wants to finish ahead of. He hasn't, but a caution has come out. A caution has come out with 4 to go. I don't think this race is going to restart. Well, we see there's 2 laps remaining. Let's take a look at the most important car on the track. That's the pace car. The lights are out on the pace car, folks. We are going to have a 1-lap dash for cash. Wow. Hold on to your horses. We are having a 1-lap dash for cash. Sean Johnson on the post position. Derby Don second. 18 Robert Bokum third. Wow. This should be a great... Sean had a great restart last time. If he has that same restart, he'll be in victory lane. Pace car is off. We are going to have a green-white start to the race. It's green and white flag here. White flag lap. This is it. Will it be Derby Don or will it be Sean? And Derby's got a great run on him as Robert gets really loosened into the wall. And he'll lose several positions, but we'll stay on the leaders here as Derby Don really had a great run on him there. And as we come out of it's a drag race down to the line, and Derby Don just is cut short. Sean Johnson takes the victory. What a great finish to the race. And it looks like the 303 of Ken Ron, the 54 Bill Yarbrough, 191 of Mike Sanders, 51 of Dave Jandry, all finished ahead of Robert Bokum, who had a little, got a little loose there. Let's take a look at that finish again. Wow, what a great finish. Let's take a look at that again for him. We'll take that from Robert Bokum's point of view. You can see Derby Don really got a great restart. It was right on the back bumper of Sean Johnson there. Sean able to hold off the charge and win by about a car length there. That's a great finish, and what a great run there. And you see as they get out of turn 4 here, the base car drops down, and we'll go green flag racing. You see Robert Bokum was in third, and as they accelerate out and get into turn 1. You can see that Derby was able to pull away a little and get that great restart with right on, and you can see Robert getting a little loose there and up against the wall, and the rest of the guys taking evasive action. And that include the 303 of Ken Ron, the 54 of Bill Yarbrough, the 51 of Dave Jandry, and there's a more contact there with Robert and Dave Jandry, as Dave got a little out of shape there, and Robert trying to make up some positions. But there, Dave getting right on the back bumper of the 191 car as well. As the race finished, that was a crazy last lap there. As we see Sean Johnson celebrate well-deserved victory. Derby Don with a great finish, going from 2 laps down to second place, challenging for that win. Just got nipped by less than a tenth of a second there. Derby Don second, Ken Ron third. Great comeback by Ken Ron as well. Great comeback by Bill Yarbrough, who had an incident. Went to the back of the lead lap, came all the way back up to finish fourth. Mike Sanders followed Derby Don's path with 2 laps down, got his laps back, finished fifth. I mean, the top 5, with the exception of Sean Johnson, who was dominant all night. Derby Don, Ken Ron, Bill Yarbrough, Mike Sanders all had incidents that put them in the back of the field. Derby Don and Mike Sanders 2 laps down. And just a amazing job of driving by all 5 of those guys. Dave Jandry brought her home 6th. Robert Bokum, who got a little loose there in the final lap, fell to 7th. Ken Hansen 8th. Matt Watkins battled back to 9th. And T.G. Reese, top 10 finish. TG, good job. Rest of the lead lappers, Guy Petra, Steve Webb, and Joe Cutt finished all on the lead lap, 13 cars. 3 cars a lap down. Mark Fravor, Jeffrey Stone, and Ken Souza getting some seat time there, 18 laps down, and Pops brought it home 16th. And the rest of the guys had some incidents throughout the race and beat up their cars, and fortunately weren't able to continue. Ed Finley, Rick Johnson, Mark DeSenza. Mark had a great ride tonight. Probably another car of one to beat. Rick Johnson had a great run going, consistent, up in top 3, top 4. Ken Shea had a great car, blew up a motor. So some bad luck for some guys. Sean Johnson was the dominant car still, and well deserving of the victory. So that will do it from Rockingham, the Rock. Thanks for watching and viewing, and look forward to our next race, Wednesday, Pro Cup. And as we can see here, these were the points going into the race. Came on the air just a tick late, so I didn't have a chance to recap this. But there you see the points. Now, Robert Bokum finished 7th. Derby Don finished 2nd. So Derby does cut into the lead somewhat. Steve Webb with a decent finish. Of course, there's Sean Johnson with the victory. So he'll move up past Steve Webber and take the 3rd position. And there we see good finishes by Guy Petra. Mark Fravor had a little problem. He got a couple laps down there, so he may take a hit in the points there. Joe Cutt should take advantage of that as TG with a top 10 finish. And rounding out the top 10 before this race started, Ken Ron with a great finish too, so he'll gain some points there as well. But next broadcast, as I was saying, is Pro Cup. There's the current Pro Cup points after we just finished Bristol on this past Wednesday. Matt Watkins with just a slim 7-point advantage over Robert Bokum and just a 20-point advantage over Rick Johnson. As we just saw in the Aero Series, Robert with a 50-point lead. In Pro Cup, the top 7 are separated by less than 50, so you can see the competition there is really tight. And let's take a look at the schedule of the Pro Cup. You can see here their next race is at California. There'll be California Dreamin' next Wednesday. There you can see a list of our previous race winners. My great partner, Milt Mintner, with a big, huge, monstrous Daytona win to begin the season. And then Derby Don came through at Atlanta. And there we see our good friends Matt Watkins and Robert Bokum popping up all over the winners board. Matt with 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. Count them up, 4 wins. Robert Bokum with 2 wins. Kevin Lewis with 2 wins. And there's Big Doug's win at Las Vegas, his first Pro Cup win. So some great winners here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different winners here in Pro Cup, which is great to see. And as I said, next race, California. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's event. Thanks again for listening, and hope to see you on the next one.